Shalom, and welcome to Challenging Torah, a project of the Malibu Jewish Center and Synagogue. This week's Torah portion is about a challenge worthy of a Shakespearean play. Indeed, worthy of next summer's blockbuster event. Move over Russell Crowe and Noah. The real story is about Korach. As Korach, cousin of Moses, goes up against his authority. According to the Torah, now Korach, son of Levi, a cousin of Moses directly, betook himself, along with the Tan and Abiran, who are Reubenites, to raise up himself against Moses, together with 250 men, chieftains of the community. They combined against Moses and Aaron, and they said to Moses and Aaron, "You have gone too far. Who made you the boss? All of the community is holy. The Lord is in their midst. Why then do you raise yourself up against the Lord's congregation?" Moses is furious, and he responds, "Korach, son of Levi, you have gone too far," and the dogfight is on. It's a political fight. We watch it on TV with negative advertising. Here we are. This is 3,000 years ago, and it's the same politics. On one hand, it's politics of coalition. These two have different agendas. The Reubenites, they were the firstborn. Why can't they be king? On the other hand, Korach, he's a close cousin. Why is he cut out of the action? And they pull in the people as the reason, right? But the people weren't speaking here. Only the chieftains and Korach. And so Moses says, fine, get your fire pans, come in the morning, and God will decide. And then Moses says, if these people die, like all men do, I'm done. Fine. I don't have God's mandate here. But if something unusual happens to them, then we will know. So, he calls them out, and Moses again says, if the earth opens up its mouth and swallows them, and all that belongs to them, we shall know that they will go down alive to Sheol, to hell. That's Moses' challenge. And scarcely had he finished saying these words that morning, then the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them and their households and all their belongings. And then fire came out and consumed the 250 men. Wow, now if that doesn't make a good Hollywood movie, I think we're missing a great script. Even Charlton Heston would love to play the Korach role. Or Moses. But brilliance of the story aside, it really does take a good look at what is rebellion. First of all, we ask, why is Korach rebelling? The Mishnah in Avot says, is it l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven? Or is Korach doing this for his own gain? The answer is pretty clear. Korach is not talking about the people. He's talking about himself. But that's how rabble-rousers work. On the other hand, is rebellion against an unjust situation ever justified? Of course it is. The Jews rebelled against Pharaoh in Egypt. Now, God was in charge there. God is not always as visibly in charge, even though politicians today make sure that it's God that's on their side, right? We don't really know that. But we do know to ask the question, what are Korach's motives? And so that becomes an inherent part of this story, not just the action. As the fire is about to come forth, the people all fall down on their knees. They see what's happened, and they're afraid of a plague. They're afraid of further punishment. And they say, wait. Why should we be punished just because of the rebellion of these men? Once again, the people are being used as a tool. And God says, stand back from away the tents of these people. I'm going to wipe out Korach and all of his band. The people fall on their faces. Collateral damage. We know, happens all the time. Today in Iraq, We are asking what happens if we go in as Americans and help bomb, etc. We know that in any moment where there's a firefight, there's collateral damage and innocent people die. And so we hearken back to Abraham, who says, looking at the destruction of Sodom, what if I find a few innocent people? What happens when not everyone is guilty? The same question, again, is being asked here. And so, at the end of this story, we see that yes, it is about an angry God, and God does select the correct one. Later, all of Aaron and his crew put out, all the Levites put out a rod, and only Aaron's staff blossomed. God is an active participant here, not in the way that we live today. But underneath is a much bigger question. Korach actually asks the good question. Aren't all of the community of Israel holy? And so I ask myself, are my actions guided l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven? What about my inner Korach, that inner rebellious child who immediately goes up against authority? Why? Just because you say so? On the other hand, can we possibly lead about 1.5 million people through the desert without someone strictly and seriously in charge? And how do we decide who our political leaders are? And do we rip them down once they take too much power, but know that they have taken power for their own personal gain? Isn't that the game we play? And so the story continues. That is the brilliance of Torah, as we look at Korach in our own generation and in ourselves. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.